This beer was voted as the best beer in the world, called as the holy grail of beers. Hailed to be the best beer ever brewed in history. It's a dark beer. It's a quadruple. It's 10.2%, and I'm very proud to share it with you.
Good morning, everyone.
We are so excited to be in Brussels, Belgium.
And we have so much planned, but before we get too far into it, my name's Alaytra.
And I'm Jordan Beck.
And this is Around the World of Beck. We post new videos every week. Sometimes it's about Americans living in the UK, and sometimes it's amazing travel vlogs with us trying to hit 50 countries.
Like this one, so go down below and hit the subscribe button. Now let's go ahead and get started. When you think of Belgium, you think of probably three things, which being waffles, chocolate, and beer. And our first thing of the day is a combination of all of it, included in our walking tour. And just to walk over here to get to the meeting point, you can see different types of chocolate stores and waffle stores, and just it's an overwhelming smell. And I'm so excited to get started. As you can see, it's very busy. This is the third most visited statue in the world, and this is not even high season. But behind me is a statue of a boy basically peeing, and it's very popular today. He's dressed up for the local team, the local football team, and it kind of changes it on a regular basis. So it's kind of hard to get in there, but we're going to the next spot, so we can't stay here too much longer.
We are kicking the tour off with a lot of history. What we've learned so far is that Brussels is a melting pot. Over 100 different languages spoke here. It's very apparent when you look at the street signs. They're Dutch, French, English, German. It's all over the place, which I think means that there's going to be great food, and I'm really excited to get started.
Belgium is the country with the most chocolatiers in the world. Wow, what a surprise. Everywhere is chocolate shop, you know. So if I tell you this is the most common sense because every other shop is a chocolate shop. So the city is overwhelmed with chocolate stores. It's everywhere. You have more chocolate shops than restrooms here in Brussels. It's amazing. So how many chocolatiers do you expect to have in the city of Brussels, and how many total in the whole country in Belgium? Brussels, capital, chocolatiers has only 6. Belgium, country famous for having more chocolatiers in the world, have 18, 1-8. Whole Central Europe has 31. States, 330 million living in states, and you have only 5. Why? If you want to be a master chocolatier, you pay. And you go to private schools, and it's 3 years of heavy study. You learn everything. Countries, regions, soils, temperature, varieties, sub-varieties. It's 3 years. And you, at the end, you know everything, you know? And then you have 1 year of training for a chocolatier. After 4 years, you have that title, master chocolatier, and you name your price, like a chef cook in New York. So you're big, and you're in the newspaper. Everyone wants to hire you, or you can do whatever you want, okay?
We've got a lot of chocolate stops that we're going to be stopping at, 5 to be precise, 3 confectionaries and 2 chocolatiers. This is the first one, which he described as an entry-level to high-end chocolate. It's a family-owned shop, and they only have 5 stores.
It's pretty unique. We get to pick our own chocolates.
It was so freaking good.
That was just the first piece of chocolate, and it was so good, so rich.
And now we are on to go see a different famous statue, the heroine of Brussels, the little peeing girl.
Right behind me is the identical statue of the peeing boy, the peeing girl. And it's actually caged up because right next door is a bar that serves the most beers in one location. So they're trying to avoid the drunk people going over there. But this really cool place actually holds the record for the most beers served in one location. It's rapid. We're going to the next stop. Let's go. This chocolate was a champagne, like rosé, and you can kind of see it in the shell with a powdered sugar on the outside. It was phenomenal. This place has the Royal Belgian seal, which I guess just means like really, really fancy chocolate. And it's like 92 euro for a kilogram of chocolate. Wow.
Well, now, let me tell you. I told you chocolates and confectionaries, okay? I hate that people always slam confectionaries, telling them, oh, it's a knockoff, they're bad because stuff. This house, they supply the royal tables and they are a confectionery. So there's nothing to do of being bad. Just the chocolatiers, they do something different because they control the whole process on their own. And they're on the darker side. They're the purest guys, you get it? So it's not like chocolatiers, they're bad, confectioneries, they're bad. No, because this is a confectionery and they're supplying the royal tables for the last 18 years. So there you go, you know? So now the next thing we're doing now, we go to a house very close to here and I take you to different mentality and different completely logic. This is the old school chocolate. You saw the pieces, they were like very sophisticated and big and you had a lot of flavors. Now we'll go somebody who does it in the modern way.
This shop, we tried 3 different things. One, a Belgian macaroon, which tends to be a little bit crunchier and not as sweet as a French macaroon. We also tried a macadamian imported chocolate, and then a ginger chocolate that ginger to me tastes like soap, so it wasn't my favorite, but Jordan devoured it. Love me a good food tour. It's delicious.
Okay, cafe latte.
Picking our own chocolate.
Because if you go very close look, it's not a blonde ale, it's not a gold ale, it's not a dark ale, it's not a brown ale. Actually, Orval is one of the weirdest guys that falls in no category. It has almost a, you know what I call it, the color? Lipton iced tea. Look. Look. Like a lemon tea color. See?
This is a very popular area where they do live jazz music, and this is where locals come to just kind of hang out. So if you're in Brussels, come over here and chill out.
We just got to try the Costa Rica one, which has very much hints of banana in it. And now we get to pick 2, and oh my gosh, decisions have never been harder. I'm super excited.
This is that bottle and this is a treasure. This doesn't exist anymore. If anybody finds out one of those, I'm ready to pay whatever. I'm broke nowadays, but I'm ready to get a loan. I'm ready to get a loan without any problem. Because this is a treasure. It's priceless. It's priceless. 15K. Medium. Priceless. 20K. It's an investment. So, you see this? This is the duck. We want to see the copy? Are you ready?
Okay.
You get the idea? The guy was very smart. Not only, it's a different, actually, if you look at it, they are the same. Because he used the same colors to tweak people's mind, to trick people's mind. Small tweaks, everything good to skip legal procedure against the monks. Now, why rip the whole label off? Because
Can't copy it.
Yeah, because you have a law around the world that you cannot sell on labels alcohol content. This is the only way you cannot copy. If they change the label, still people would copy another label, but you cannot copy this. For that, they had to make a big sacrifice of giving up on selling it. So they made a commitment that they are not allowed to sell it in any store or any bar. You can only buy it for your own personal use, driving all the way to one street, and they let you sign a commitment that you're not reselling it. Glasses are super hard to find. This comes from monastery. It's a 4-glass box. This is from the monastery, it's 30 euros, you know? In the shops here, you pay for one glass, 20 euros almost. Look how beautiful the glasses are. They are a piece of art. Now in the States, this, last time somebody Googled, this bottle is $150. on secondary market. It's crazy. Everything for Tristan Street goes for crazy money. So this is the glasses. I'm telling people, I have only 10 left. You can break my neck, you can break my head. Please do not break my glasses. Be careful. This beer was voted as the best beer in the world, called as the holy grail of beers. Hailed to be the best beer ever brewed in history. It's a dark beer, it's a quadruple, it's 10.2%, and I'm very proud to share it with you. First time I had this, it blew me away to a point that I said, I want everyone to taste it. It will take you to the next level of beer brewing in the history.
After many, many beers later, and just some little snack food at this little private spot, we tried the best and most famous and hard to acquire beer in the world. Let me tell you, as a dark beer, it was so smooth and so easy, and it's unlike anything I've ever had before. I highly recommend this tour, but we're still not done even after like 5 hours later. So we're going over to try some waffles for the first time. So we'll update you again once we're there.
It's so good. Totally worth waiting till the end for this. To say that last night didn't go as expected is an understatement. First of all, we have 2 struggles on our tours when we book these things online. The first one happened today, but the second one happened last night, and that is timing. So normally with timing on these tours is that they go a little short, and that's fine with us. We get to explore the city a bit more. This was the first time that the tour went long, and by long, I mean long, like 3 hours long. The guide was so informative and just was spewing with information, which was great. But a couple of the other couples on the tour had reservations for dinner that they had booked for about an hour or so after the tour. No, we were supposed to be done at 7 and we left at about 10:15. So if you're wanting a timely tour, this one was not the one for you. But if you want to have good food and good information, then this one was definitely worth going to. The other unexpected thing that happened is normally when we go drinking, I'm the one that struggles the next day. However, this time it was Jay. The best beer in the world got to him. Anyways, we already did our first tour today, and I want to tell you guys all about it. I mentioned that there was 2 things that we struggle with when it comes to these tours. The first one is timeliness. The second one is finding the tour itself, which was definitely a struggle this morning. We walked into the Grand Plaza, or like the central square of Brussels, and not only is it Saturday with tons of tours going on, but there's also a wedding and construction. I think there's a concert going on, some type of jazz concert for the next few days. It was hopping. We did end up finding the tour guide on a yellow hat just on the other side, and we began the day. It was a history tour. It took us about 3 hours and some change, and throughout he got us chocolate and more waffles. So despite the fact that we've had a lot so far, we are still in the craving to get some more. We learned a lot throughout the tour. One of the things that I found most interesting is where we ended it, which was on the top of that hill over there. And he explained to us that in the 15th century, when the church and the city town and the royal palace were being built, they decided to make all of them roughly the same height in comparison to where they're at on the hills, to signify that neither the city nor the religion nor the royals would have power over the other. So pretty progressive. I think we'll drop other nuggets in as we continue throughout the day as well. Our tour was about 3 hours long and had us going all over the city. We got to see some stuff we saw yesterday, along with some brand new stuff. We went up and down a ton of hills and really got to explore the city from all different points of view. It was a good time, but it does have us in the mood for like good food. And Jordan said that there is an actual Michelin star fry place that is just down the hill and towards the city center. And I am super excited to try it. So let's go get some Frites. These aren't just any fries. These are fries made by a chef that has a Michelin star. And oh my God, they're so good. Look at these things. We're gonna go find a spot to sit down and enjoy these. Come on.
We got the Parmesan and basil, and just the classic, which came with 2 different sauces. So we went with the original and the samurai sauce. And let me tell you, a restaurant was able to do something, just the basic idea of a fry, and turn it into something so elegant, crispy outside, fluffy in the middle, magnificent. And I definitely want to come back here tomorrow. Throughout Brussels, you'll find a bunch of frites or fries places, and the queue for them seems to be pretty long. But I think after the restaurant we were just at, I think all the other places are going to be inferior. But we'll have to try that later to kind of compare and see who wins. Purely for science, of course. Around the world, Belgium is known for its food and its beer. As you walk throughout Brussels, you'll notice that just a stone throw away from the next shop is going to be a chocolate place, a waffle stand, and a place that serves frites, and even places to grab a beer at a pub or a restaurant and just experience why Belgium's beer made it to the UNESCO Cultural Heritage List. It is very apparent that food and beer are very important here. The other thing that Brussels is known for is its art. Its breakout of music performances and jazz concerts and random street dances and sculptures made of sand. It's just an endless surprise around every corner. And you even have the art found in its architectural designs and history and the fountains. And if you go to just outside of Town Hall and just do a quick little spin around, you can tour all of Europe through its melting pot of different cultures and variety. It's quite the incredible place. And today was all about the history and traditional art. And tomorrow we're going to experience the culinary art. So with that, we'll close out for today.
Good morning and welcome to our last full day in Brussels. It wouldn't be a Beck vacation without a little bit of bad weather, and that's what we're seeing a bit today. It looks like it's gonna sprinkle, we might get some full-on rain, but from what we've heard, that's part of the Belgium culture, is a little bit of rain. However, we get to escape from it for a little bit because we're kicking this morning off with a chocolate making experience. So let's go. Once we got inside, they told us to grab an apron and head upstairs. There we found 2 big tables with a bunch of melting pots on them. And it was 2 people per pot. So Jordan and I went ahead and paired up, and then she had us gather around and she would explain big chunks of the instructions, and then we would completely remember those successfully. At that point, we would go back to our little melting pots and do the things that she had said. So we started off by just pouring our chocolate in and getting it all mixed together. After it got to the perfect temperature, then we would go ahead and take the little molds that they had for us and fill them all the way up, and then do a lot of tapping to make sure we got all of the air bubbles out. And then it was a little flip upside down and a perfect scrape with absolutely no flaws. Then she took it and she put it inside the freezer for it to cool down for a while. And then meanwhile, we got to make little just like chocolate discs. So some people made boats, some people wrote their initials. I just went with simple discs and a little bit of hearts. And then Jordan had a star and other shapes, which were very good. I like them a lot. And then we got to add raisins and nuts and anything like that to it that we wanted. And then those went into the freezer, and then it was time for the filling. So we made a little ganache that we were able to add to the majority of it. It took about a half to 3/4 to fill it up, and then you could add more nuts, raisins, honey, anything that you wanted, and top it off with more chocolate and another perfect scrape. And she let us know that you could only do your scrape in one solid motion, and if there was any mess ups, you just had to let it be. So, no pressure. And again, went flawlessly. Absolutely no mistakes in our chocolate. And those went into the freezer, and while those were cooling down, we got to make hot chocolate. Or at least some of the class did, and then they would share with the rest of us. And probably the best hot chocolate I've ever had. Maybe a solid contender would be the ones that we had in Barcelona, but I don't really know. It's a kind of a toss-up there. Oh, wait, no, Switzerland. Switzerland had the best hot chocolate I've ever had. The Lindt hot chocolate. Baby. After the hot chocolate was consumed and our chocolates in the freezer had cooled down to temperature, then came the part of twisting these hard plastic molds and then trying to get the chocolates out. I made the mistake of banging it on the table, and then she came by and let us know, no, let us use a label to get it off. So some of mine cracked a bit, but It's fine. It's fine. They're still good. And picks for proof. So this is what ours ended up looking like. So you can see the little discs that we made, and then also some of our definitely not cracked chocolates. Now that our sweet tooth is satisfied, we're off to go find some Frites.
We ended up going back to the same Frites place as the other day. We couldn't stop thinking about the place, so much so that during our chocolate class, we brought it up a couple of times to some of the people we were kind of sharing a table with. And so when we arrived here, we discovered that they too decided to make the diversion over here to try some Frites. And we ended up sitting down with one of them, having a long conversation, and it turns out they did the research for us and visited the other fry stands around the town. And I guess after standing in line for 20 minutes and getting a heaping portion, they just didn't like them. So now that we've had our Frites, we feel all full. We're gonna walk around, try to dip and dodge from the rain when we can and burn off those calories. But eventually we're going to end our last full day here in Brussels with some waffles, which I think is a pretty fitting way to end. After walking around for some time, eventually it started to rain. So we decided to sneak indoors to a place that we saw earlier at the beginning of our time here in Brussels. And it just so happens to be the very famous Guinness World Record holder for Beers Bar. And let me tell you, I'm very glad that we decided to make that venture back towards that bar, because we had a flight of beers, which they labeled as the meter of beers, and tried this variety of different things. I'm feeling it a little bit now, but it's nice to feel warm inside as the weather has taken a turn for the worse and it's got a little bit chilly. So now we're inside this mall where there's like this glass dome over top, and it kind of shields us for the rain, but it's very, very crowded. So we're gonna see what we can do from now until probably dinner. The weather has cleared up, things are beautiful once again, and when in Brussels, you have to eat your dessert before dinner, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. We found some waffles. Again, this is our third time trying some waffles, and we went for the Liege waffle, which is different from the Brussels waffle. And the Liege waffle usually has clumps of sugar in it, and it's kind of rough edges, whereas the Brussels waffle has a firm rectangular shape and is usually coated with a powdered sugar. This one, however, has whipped cream and strawberries and banana with a chocolate drizzle. And boy, oh boy, this just summarize all of Brussels. It's just fantastic. Like the many different beers that we've tried, the one-of-a-kind, very exclusive, unlabeled beer that's hard to come by. The chocolate class, the Michelin-inspired Frites. It's so beautiful, just like this country. But overall, this is pretty much going to wrap it up for the vlog here. If you enjoyed us checking out some exclusive things and finding little tips and tricks about our trips here, hit that subscribe button down below. It means a lot to us. And with that, I'm going to excuse myself with this beautiful waffle and go enjoy it. And we'll see you guys next time.